My dear child, there is a lie you have been carrying for far too long, and today it ends. You have told yourself that you are not good enough, that you have made too many mistakes, that too much time has passed, that the damage is too deep, and that the door of hope has already closed for you. But I am here to look you in the eyes and tell you that every single one of those thoughts is a lie. Not a small lie, not a half-truth, a complete and total lie. And if you allow it, that lie will follow you right into the next chapter of your life and poison everything waiting for you there. So before you take even one more step forward, I need you to put that lie down. Leave it here. Walk away from it. You were never meant to carry it. It was never yours to begin with. You were not invited into this new season because you earned your way in. You were not selected because you performed well enough, or because your record was clean enough, or because you finally got everything right. No, you are being invited forward because you are loved. Deeply, completely, and without condition. I see you not as a collection of your failures. I see you as everything you were created to become. And I am calling you forward not because you have proven yourself, but because I see who you truly are beneath all the hiding, beneath all the shame, beneath all the masks you have been wearing just to get through each day. You need to understand something about broken things. When broken things come into my hands, they do not stay broken. That is not what I do. I do not look at a shattered life and walk away shaking my head. I look at a shattered life and I see a testimony waiting to be written. I see a bridge being formed that will one day carry other broken people safely across the same waters that almost drowned you. I see evidence of redemption. I see proof that restoration is real. You are not the exception to what I am able to do. You are the very reason restoration exists. So let this truth settle deep inside you right now, all the way down to the place where doubt lives. You are not too broken to move forward. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are ready, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. And willingness, my child, is all I have ever needed from you. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now I must speak to you with a kind of love that does not soften itself just to make you feel comfortable. I must tell you something that is wrapped in care, but does not hide from truth. You are running out of time to decide. Please hear what I am saying and what I am not saying. I am not saying you are running out of my love. My love has no expiration. I am not saying you are running out of mercy. Mercy is woven into the very way I breathe on your life. But what I am saying is this: the season in which your indecision carried no real consequences is coming to an end. Time is not standing still for you anymore. It is moving. It is shaping things. It is closing some doors and opening others. It is advancing whether you are ready or not. And every single moment that you delay making a decision, something else is making the decision for you. Avoidance is choosing. Fear is choosing. Comfort is choosing. Drifting is choosing. You feel it, don't you? That quiet but growing sense that your options are becoming more specific, more directional, more demanding of a response. That feeling is not anxiety. That is your discernment waking up. That is your spirit recognizing that you are no longer at the beginning of the road where wandering is harmless. You are not lost, but you are far enough along that direction now matters deeply. You have told yourself many times before, I will decide when I am sure. But certainty has become the hiding place of fear. If you wait to feel completely confident, completely ready, completely healed, completely unafraid before you move, then you will be waiting forever. Because here is the truth that changes everything. Decision does not follow certainty. Certainty follows decision. You are not meant to stand in one place waiting for the fog to clear before you walk. Clarity comes because you walk. That is the order. That is how it works. And this is why time presses on your spirit right now. Not to frighten you, not to crush you, but to save you from making stagnation your permanent address. You were never designed to live suspended between yes and no. That space in between drains life from you. It robs your energy, your peace, your joy. It keeps you rehearsing the same thoughts, revisiting the same questions, circling the same ground over and over until you are so exhausted from the circling that you mistake the exhaustion for wisdom. It is not wisdom. It is the cost of indecision, staying too long. So hear me now with both seriousness and tenderness. Delay is no longer harmless in your life. What once felt like patience has quietly become avoidance. What once felt like wisdom is now postponing growth. And I am telling you this plainly because I want you free. Not trapped in endless preparation. Not frozen in permanent waiting. I am not rushing you toward disaster. I am urging you out of paralysis. If you do not decide, life will decide for you. And the decisions life makes without your input are rarely the ones that lead toward your purpose. I am offering you the chance to choose deliberately, consciously, courageously, before circumstances force a choice you never intended to make. You still have time, but not unlimited time. And that truth is not meant to scare you. It is meant to sharpen you. Even a small decision made in obedience today carries more power than 1,000 perfect plans that never leave your mind. Move toward me. I am with you as you choose. There is something I want to address that has been sitting between us for a long time. I am asking for your attention. And I know that right now your mind wants to pull away. It wants to offer me an excuse. You have a whole collection of them, and you know them well because you have rehearsed them many times. I am too tired. I have already been hurt. I cannot afford to fail again. I need more time. I do not feel ready. I hear every single one of those. And I want you to know that I do not dismiss them lightly. Your pain is real. Your exhaustion is real. Your fear of another disappointment is understandable. But here is what I need you to understand. Those reasons, as real as they are, do not have permission to run your life anymore. Excuses are not always lies. That is what makes them so dangerous. Often they are true things used to delay obedience. And delay, when it becomes a habit, slowly numbs the heart until movement feels impossible. I am not asking you to pretend the pain does not exist. I am asking you not to let the pain be the one who makes your decisions. I am not asking you to act as though you have no fear. I am asking you not to let fear's voice be louder than mine. All I am asking for right now is your attention, your presence, your willingness to say, I am here. I am listening. I will not look away. That is it. That is where it starts. You have become very skilled at explaining yourself. You can describe your struggles with great detail. You can trace your wounds back to exactly where they came from and explain with intelligence why moving forward feels so hard. But understanding your story is not the same thing as surrendering it. At some point, explanation has to give way to action. Reflection has to give way to response. Otherwise, even your deepest insight becomes just another hiding place. I am not here without compassion, but I am here to tell you that your excuses, all of them together, have built a wall around your life. And I am here to take that wall down, not by force, but by invitation. Give me your full attention, not the divided kind, not the kind where half your mind is already planning what comes next, not the kind where you are half listening and half preparing your objections. Real presence, real attention, because attention is the doorway through which transformation walks. When you give me your genuine attention, the excuses lose their grip, the noise grows quieter, clarity begins to form. Not the loud and dramatic kind, but the steady, quiet kind that guides your feet, even when your heart is still trembling. I am not asking you to perform. I am asking you to show up. Stay here with me. This moment is still open. What you do with it matters more than you currently understand. Let me tell you something that goes against everything fear has ever taught you. Surrender will cost you far less than resistance already has. Think about that for a moment. Resistance has already taken so much from you. It has taken your peace. It has taken your energy. It has taken your clarity. It has stolen countless nights of restful sleep. Resistance is the reason you have spent so much time rehearsing arguments in your own mind, replaying scenarios that never actually happened, bracing yourself for impacts that never came. Resistance told you that holding on was strength, that staying guarded was wisdom, that keeping control was the only way to stay safe. But look honestly at what it has cost you. Look at the exhaustion that followed every attempt to manage and control what was never meant to be carried alone. Look at the quiet, hollow ache that comes from knowing deep inside that you are capable of far more than where you currently are, yet feeling unable to move toward it. Resistance is expensive. It drains without producing. It consumes without building. It promises safety but delivers stagnation. And you have been paying that price for long enough. Surrender, on the other hand, feels frightening because it asks you to loosen your grip. It asks you to stop bracing. It asks you to trust me with outcomes you cannot see ahead of time. But surrender is not collapse. It is not weakness. It is not giving up your will. It is aligning your will with truth. Surrender does not take your agency from you. It restores it. When you surrender, you stop wasting energy fighting reality and start receiving strength for movement. You stop spending yourself on control and start walking in grace. And yes, surrender feels costly at first because it reveals things you have been protecting. It brings fear to the surface. It asks you to step into uncertainty without guarantees. But that cost is temporary. Resistance demands payment every single day. Surrender asks once, and then it gives back. It gives peace where tension lived. It gives clarity where confusion ruled. It gives direction where circling dominated. You are afraid that surrender will take something precious from you. But resistance has already taken far more than surrender ever would. Hear me clearly, my child. You are not losing by surrendering. You are recovering. You are recovering your energy, your time, your joy, your forward motion. I am not asking you to surrender to chaos. I am asking you to surrender to me. And I have never mishandled what was placed in my hands. Not once. I know you have learned to survive by holding tight. I know releasing your grip feels unsafe, but I would never ask you to let go of what I am not prepared to replace with something far better. Lay down the resistance. It has done everything it can do. Let surrender lead you now. It will cost you less and give you more than anything you have ever imagined. Here is something else you must understand, and it will change the way you think about moving forward. You have been waiting for clarity before you take a step, but movement is what produces clarity. This is the order. This is the sequence you have had backward for a long time. You have been asking me to show you the full path, to explain every outcome, to resolve every uncertainty before you step forward. But life does not unfold that way. Faith does not function that way. Clarity is not the prerequisite. Clarity is the reward. And it comes after you step, not before. The next step, not the entire journey, is all you are being asked to take right now. And that one next step will clarify more than all your thinking ever could. You are tired because you have been trying to see 10 steps ahead when only one is required of you. Your mind is overwhelmed because you have been asking questions that will only be answered after you move in obedience, not before it. This is not confusion. This is sequence. I am not withholding clarity to frustrate you. I am offering light for the next step, because that is exactly how much light you need right now. And here is what I want you to understand about that next step. It is rarely dramatic. It is often simple. It may be a conversation you have been putting off, a habit you know must change, a boundary you have been afraid to set, a truth you have been afraid to admit out loud, a step you have rehearsed in your mind so many times that just thinking about it makes you feel exhausted. That one. That is usually the one. The step that makes your heart beat faster when you imagine it. The step that costs you comfort, but gives you alignment. That step carries power far beyond its size. Once you take it, things begin to move. What felt stuck begins to shift. What felt impossible begins to open. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to keep going. So do not wait for full understanding before you move. Let your movement become your proof. Take the next step with me, not confidently, but willingly. You do not need to feel brave. You do not need to feel certain. You simply need to be responsive. When you move, I move with you. When you step, I show you more. When you obey, I confirm the direction. Trust me here. The next step will clarify everything that truly matters right now. Take it and watch what follows. Now I want you to understand something about this moment that may feel heavy, but is actually meant to honor you. Heaven is watching your response right now, not with suspicion, not with cold evaluation, not waiting to judge you. Heaven is watching with attention, with expectancy, with a kind of holy stillness that only exists when something significant is unfolding. There are moments when the unseen realm leans closer, when the atmosphere grows still, not because of spectacle, but because of significance. This is one of those moments. What you choose right now is not small. It is not private in the way you might think. Heaven does not measure importance by how loud or dramatic something appears. It measures by alignment, and alignment is exactly what is being decided in your life right now. Your response, whether you move or retreat, whether you say yes or keep delaying, sends a signal. Not to inform me, because I already know your heart completely, but your response activates movement around you. When you respond, help is released. When you hesitate, that help waits. This is not punishment. This is order. I do not force destiny upon you. I invite you into it. And invitations always require an answer. You may feel the weight of this and wonder if it is too much. But hear me clearly. This is not scrutiny. This is honor. Heaven does not watch what it does not value. The fact that heaven is leaning in right now means you matter deeply. The unseen realm has watched your endurance through seasons you barely survived. It has witnessed your quiet faithfulness in moments when no one else saw. It has seen the nights you chose to keep believing when doubt pressed in so hard you could barely breathe. It has recorded every moment you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. Every time you chose hope over bitterness. Every time you chose humility when pride was louder. That history is part of why this moment carries so much weight. You have been shaped for this kind of responsiveness. You have been prepared for this moment, even if you do not feel prepared. And preparation is almost always recognized after obedience begins, not before. Heaven does not expect perfection from you. It expects honesty. It expects presence. It expects a heart that says, I will not turn away. So do not shrink from this moment. Let the awareness of it steady you instead of intimidate you. When you say yes, even quietly, even imperfectly, even with a trembling voice, things begin to move. Strength is dispatched. Peace follows. Heaven is not waiting to judge you. Heaven is waiting to join you. We are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit our Ko-fi or PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express. Now I must speak to you about seasons. Every season of grace is a gift, but gifts have windows. And this particular window, this specific chapter, this arrangement of timing and mercy that you are standing inside of right now, is drawing toward its close. This is not the last call of your entire life. This is not the end of my patience with you. This is not my heart closing toward you. But it is the final invitation of this season. And seasons matter because what comes next is shaped entirely by how you responded before. Mercy comes in waves, not in one endless tide that stays at the same level forever. Each wave carries its own assignments, its own tenderness, its own possibilities. When a wave passes without being answered, another may come, but it will not carry the same gentleness, the same clarity, the same ease of response. Not because I become harsher later, but because repetition hardens resistance. What is repeatedly ignored becomes harder and harder to hear. The sensitivity dulls, and I do not want that to happen to you. This is why I am speaking plainly right now. Love clarifies before it closes a chapter. You may feel a kind of sadness hearing this. Good. Let that sadness make your attention sharper. This moment is not ending because you have failed. It is concluding because it has fulfilled the purpose for which it was given to you. You were brought here to decide, not to drift, not to delay indefinitely, to decide. If you respond now, this season will close in alignment and carry momentum into everything that comes next. If you delay further, it will close in tension, and the lessons will need to be relearned under heavier conditions. Mercy's last call is still mercy. It is an invitation wrapped in urgency. Not a sentence. Not a threat. It is me saying to you, do not miss what I made available while the light was still on. I am not removing your choice. I am illuminating the consequence of delay. You are not being rushed out of love. You are being summoned into maturity. This season has brought you clarity, confrontation, and invitation. Now it asks for your response. Do not mourn what is ending. Honor it by answering it. Choose now, not because you are afraid of missing out, but because you recognize the gift that is standing right in front of you. I will be with you as you choose. I will remain with you after the choice. But this moment, this precise and specific arrangement of grace, will not come again in exactly this form. Answer it while it is still calling your name. Before I go further, I need to correct something that fear has distorted in you. Because fear has a way of twisting love into threat and turning invitation into pressure. What I am offering you is not pressure. It is rescue. There is a difference, and it matters greatly. Pressure overwhelms. Rescue reaches toward you. Pressure demands performance. Rescue provides presence. Pressure says do more. Rescue says let me help. I know that your body has learned to brace itself when urgency appears. Because in your past, urgency often came wrapped in manipulation, in impossible expectations, or in punishment that did not match the offense. But look at me now. Listen carefully. Feel the difference. I am not pushing you toward collapse. I am pulling you away from drowning. When I speak with urgency, it is not because I want more from you. It is because I want less weight on you. I see how long you have been treading water, in the deep end of life, convincing yourself you are fine, because you have not yet sunk. I see how much energy it has taken just to stay afloat each day, how tired your arms have become, how shallow your breathing has gotten. Rescue does not come to criticize how you ended up in the water. Rescue comes because staying in the water any longer will cost you more than you can afford to lose. That is what this moment is. Not pressure. Rescue. You have mistaken rescue for pressure because rescue requires a response. A hand that is extended must be taken. A voice calling out must be answered. And responding feels frightening when you are already exhausted. You are afraid that reaching out will expose how close you really are to giving up, how much of your strength has already been spent. But rescue does not shame weakness. It honors honesty. I am not asking you to swim harder. I am asking you to stop pretending you do not need help. I am not asking you to speed up. I am offering you relief. Rescue does not strip your dignity. It restores it. Rescue does not humiliate you. It preserves your life. And rescue does not end with you being left alone on the shore, shaking. It begins with accompaniment. I will not pull you out and then walk away. I will stay with you. I will steady you. I will help you breathe again. But you must let me. You must stop reading my urgency as aggression and start receiving it for what it truly is. Compassion that refuses to arrive too late. Take the hand. Let yourself be helped. Let the straining end. Now I want you to pay close attention to something that lives inside you. Before your mind argues, and before your logic protests, there is something quieter and deeper already present within you. Your heart already knows. Not everything, not every detail, but enough. Enough to recognize my voice when you hear it. Enough to sense that this moment is significant. Enough to feel the difference between noise and truth. You have spent years training your mind to debate what your heart recognizes instantly. You analyze, you compare, you rehearse, you delay. But underneath all of that activity, there is a steady knowing that has never left you. It is not an emotion. It is not wishful thinking. It is not impulse. It is discernment. It is the place where my spirit has been speaking to you long before words could form around it. That is why you feel both drawn in and exposed at the same time right now. That is why this does not feel entirely new. It feels familiar. Truth has that quality. It does not announce itself loudly. It resonates. And resonance does not need proof to be recognized. It simply fits something already present inside you. You have tried to quiet this knowing before. You told yourself it was impractical, inconvenient, unrealistic. You buried it under responsibility, under caution, under the fear of being disappointed again. But knowing does not die easily. It waits, it remains, it resurfaces when the timing is right. And right now it is speaking again, not loudly, but clearly. That knowing is the reason you cannot fully dismiss this message. It is why you cannot completely relax without responding. It is why your chest feels both tight and open at the same time. Your heart already knows that continuing exactly as you are will cost you something precious. It already knows that responding now will be difficult but right. And knowing that does not make you weak. It makes you honest. So do not betray your own knowing in these final moments of decision. Do not let fear speak louder than recognition. Do not let the comfort of the familiar override the conviction of the true. You do not need more signs. You do not need more confirmation. You do not need more time to think about it. You need to honor what has already been made clear within you. Your heart already knows what your next step is. It already knows where you are being invited. Trust that knowing. It was formed with great care. It was preserved through every trial you endured. It has survived every season of doubt. And it is still here, steady, quiet, and faithful. Let your decision align with what you already recognize as true. When you do, peace will not have to chase you down. It will meet you exactly where you are. And you will know deeply and finally that you answered when it mattered most. If you are watching this and something inside you is stirring, I want to ask you to stop for a moment before you continue. This channel exists for one reason: to carry this kind of message to hearts that are ready to receive it. If this word has reached you, it is not by accident. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please take a moment right now to subscribe. and turn on the notifications so that these messages continue to find you when you need them most. Every time you receive this kind of word and allow it to do its work, you are choosing to remain close to the source of everything that truly matters. Stay connected. Stay open. Stay hungry. My dear child, there are moments when my voice becomes unmistakable, not because it grows loud, but because everything else grows quiet around it. This is one of those moments. You can hear me clearly right now. Not because you have done something extraordinary, but because you have slowed down enough to listen. And clarity is a gift. It does not always remain at the same volume. There are seasons when my voice is warm and close and easy to recognize. And there are seasons when the competing voices grow so loud that discernment becomes genuinely difficult. Fear speaks. Urgency speaks. Disappointment speaks. Distraction speaks. And the still small voice of truth gets harder to find in the noise. I am not telling you this to alarm you. I am telling you this to anchor you in awareness. Respond while clarity is present. Do not assume you will always be able to hear me this clearly if you keep choosing to delay. Hearing is not only about sound. It is about attention. And attention, once it has been divided repeatedly, becomes harder and harder to gather back together. You may think you can return to this later, but later is shaped by what you do right now. If you repeatedly turn away in moments of clarity, your heart learns to soften urgency into background noise, not hardened into rebellion, just dulled, less responsive, less expectant, less alert. And that is how people drift away, not through grand acts of rebellion, but through the slow, quiet familiarity of ignoring what they recognize. I do not want that for you. I do not want my voice to become something you hear, but no longer respond to. Choosing me does not mean rejecting everything else in your life. It means ordering everything else correctly. It means letting my voice outrank the other voices that compete for your attention. It means deciding that obedience matters more than comfort, that truth matters more than ease, that alignment matters more than familiarity. You are not being asked to abandon your life. You are being asked to anchor it. And if you choose me now, while my voice is clear and your heart is still tender and conviction still feels like invitation, you will find that clarity multiplies. One obedient step sharpens the next word you receive. One surrender opens deeper discernment. But postpone again, and clarity will not disappear entirely, but it will become harder to access. And I love you too much to pretend otherwise. Choose me now, while the path is lit, while your heart recognizes truth, while peace is still close enough to feel. Now I want to speak to you about something that the enemy uses against you every single day, and I want to name it clearly. Distraction. You live in a world that is deliberately designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions at once. It is a carnival of noise. Flashing screens, relentless notifications, the constant demands of people and responsibilities, the endless flood of news and opinions and fear. None of it stops. None of it gives you space to breathe. And the enemy knows that if he can keep you distracted, he does not have to work very hard against you, because a distracted person is already defeated. They are spending all of their energy on things that do not matter and have nothing left for the things that do. The world offers distraction to keep you from truth. It offers you wealth, status, popularity, validation from others, the approval of a digital audience that does not truly know you. And these things are not evil in themselves. But when you pursue them, as if they will satisfy the deepest hunger in you, you will only find yourself emptier than before. You are trying to fill a space inside you that was made for me with things that were never designed to fit it. And it will never work. You will consume more and feel less and less. That is the nature of trying to feed a spiritual hunger with a worldly feast. I am inviting you to disconnect from the chaos in order to reconnect with your Creator. You need silence. You need moments where the phone is down, the television is off, the feed is closed, and the noise is finally quiet. Be still and know that I am God. Silence is where I speak most clearly. It is in the stillness, when the house is quiet and the world has stopped demanding things of you, that my spirit can finally reach the deepest parts of your heart. The enemy uses business to keep you spiritually empty. You run and run and run, spending enormous energy, and yet at the end of the day you have little to show for it in the places that truly matter. Stop running for a moment. Be still. Guard what you allow into your mind through your eyes and ears. Whatever you consistently let in will eventually shape the life that comes out of you. If you fill yourself with the noise and fear and corruption of this age, your life will carry that weight. But if you make space for my word, my peace, my presence, then your life will begin to bloom in ways you have never experienced. Reclaim your attention. Give it back to me. Let us find the quiet together again. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. Now I must speak to you about something that happened on a hill a long time ago, and I need you to see it clearly, not as a distant religious story, but as the most personal event that has ever occurred in all of history. On that hill, on a cross made of rough wood, with nails driven through human flesh, a price was paid for your soul, not for the world in some vague and abstract sense, for you, for the exact person you are, with your exact history, your exact failures, your exact sins. Before you were born, that price was paid with full knowledge of everything you would ever do and fail to do. Think about that. Let it move you. You have spent a great deal of your life trying to earn your way. You tell yourself that if you become a better person, then God will love you more. If you do enough good things, the scales will finally balance. If you stop certain habits, you will finally be worthy of grace. Stop. I am telling you to stop carrying that weight because it was never yours to carry. When Jesus cried out from that cross, "It is finished," he meant it. Completely. Finally. Permanently. The work is done. The debt is paid. The gap between where you are and where you need to be has been bridged. Not by your effort, by his blood. And what I am asking of you is not performance. I am asking you to receive what has already been done. To accept the gift that was purchased at a price you could never have paid yourself. The cross is the bridge over the deepest chasm. There was a distance between you and me that no amount of human goodness could ever close. But I built the bridge. I laid everything down to close that gap so you could walk across into my arms. And to ignore that sacrifice, to keep trying to handle life entirely on your own terms while the bridge stands open, is to miss the entire point. Look at the cross and see your own value reflected back at you. If you ever doubt how much you are worth, remember the price that was paid. You were bought at the highest possible cost. You are precious. You are redeemed, but you must receive it. You must come to the foot of that cross and say, "Thank you. I accept this. I surrender." Let the weight of your sin lift. Let the power of what was done there wash over you. Because the freedom that is available to you on the other side of that surrender is greater than anything you have managed to build while carrying all of this alone. There is something else I must address with you directly, and I need you to receive it without defensiveness. I am concerned about the temperature of your spiritual life, because when I look at your heart, I do not find open rebellion. You have not walked away from me with a dramatic exit. You have not cursed my name. You have not rejected me out loud, but neither are you burning. You are not on fire with the kind of passion and hunger that once defined your faith. You have settled into a comfortable middle space, a place where you do enough to feel like you have not left, but not enough to truly walk with me. And I need to tell you plainly, with all the love a father can carry, that comfortable and lukewarm is more dangerous than cold. When a heart is completely cold, at least there is honesty in that distance. A cold heart knows it is far from me. A cold heart knows it needs a fire. But a lukewarm heart thinks it is fine. It reasons that because it has not completely walked away, it is safe. It tells itself that church attendance and occasional prayers and being a decent person compared to others is enough. But that kind of half-hearted living produces nothing. It receives nothing. It changes nothing. You cannot live in two worlds simultaneously. You cannot hold my hand with one hand and hold on to everything the world offers with the other. Eventually, the tension will break something, and it will not be the world's grip that gives. It will be yours. A heart divided against itself is unstable in everything. It is why you feel so torn, so anxious, so unsettled about your purpose. I am calling you back to the fire. Do you remember what it felt like when you first believed? Do you remember that specific hunger for something real? That excitement that made you want to tell people what you had found? That sense that something had genuinely changed? Where did that go? It did not simply vanish. It was smothered, gradually, under the weight of daily responsibilities, under the pursuit of financial security, under the slow seduction of comfort. And comfort in the hands of a soul that was made for more is a warning sign. You were not saved for a comfortable, safe, predictable life. You were saved for something abundant and alive and full of genuine encounter with me. I am inviting you back to that, away from the middle ground, away from the religion of convenience, back to the place where faith actually costs something. Because what costs something is also what changes something. Ask me to light the fire again. I will answer that prayer, but you must be willing to release the comfortable middle and choose to be all in. Open your eyes now, my child, and look at the world around you, not with fear, with understanding. You see the signs everywhere if you are willing to look. Nations in conflict, natural disasters increasing in their intensity and frequency, the moral fabric of society being pulled apart thread by thread, the love of people growing cold, compassion replaced by outrage, truth replaced by whatever version of it is most convenient. You look at all of this and the question rises within you. What is happening to the world? And I want to answer that question. These are not random events. These are not simply the consequences of bad political decisions or failing institutions. These are birth pains. Think of a woman in labor. When labor begins, the contractions are spaced out and manageable. But as the moment of birth draws near, they come faster, more intensely, closer together, impossible to ignore. That is exactly what you are witnessing on the earth right now. The contractions are accelerating. The world is being prepared for a new birth, the arrival of my kingdom. And these signs were given to you not to terrify you, but to prepare you. Not to send you into hiding, but to send you into position. I told you these things would happen so that when they do, your faith would deepen, rather than your heart failing from fear. The generation that sees these things will also see the fulfillment of all that I promised. And what I am asking of you in the middle of all of this shaking is not that you cower. I am asking you to stand up and lift your head. While the world looks down in despair, you look up in hope. While others are consumed with fear about what is being lost, I want you to be building faith and extending light. The darker the night becomes, the more your light is needed. Do not hide it. Do not dim it. Do not shrink back because of the darkness around you. I told you that in this world you would have trouble. But I also told you to take heart, because I have overcome the world. That is not a sentiment. That is a fact. I am not sitting anxiously on my throne watching events unfold with uncertainty. I am not surprised by any of this. I have not been caught off guard. The chaos you see is not the end of the story. It is the prelude to the King's return. My dear child, let us speak now about who you truly are and where you truly came from, because this too matters deeply. You look in the mirror, and so often what you see first are your flaws, the parts of yourself you wish were different, the tiredness in your eyes, the things about yourself that feel like evidence of everything that has gone wrong. But I see something entirely different when I look at you. I see my design. I see my intention. I see the person I formed with deliberate precision and overwhelming joy before you ever took your first breath. You are not a mistake, not a random outcome, not an accident of biology. You are my deliberate and careful design. When I made you, I stepped back and said, this is very good. The world defines you by what you produce, how much you earn, what position you hold, what mistakes you have made, what category you fit into. But I do not see you through any of those lenses. I see my creation. I see the heart I placed within you. I see the capacity I built into you that you have not yet fully understood. And my love for you does not fluctuate based on your performance. It does not change with your mood or your output or your consistency. It is solid. It does not waver. It does not move based on how your week went. There is no distance too great for my love to span. You could be in the deepest valley of shame right now, feeling as though you have damaged things beyond any possibility of repair. And my love reaches you there. My hand extends to that exact place. You have not fallen somewhere I cannot reach. I hear the hesitation in your heart. You think, but you do not know what I have done. You do not know how many times I have promised to change and failed. You do not know how broken some of these things really are. I know all of it. I know every detail. And I love you still. My desire is to gather you the way a mother bird gathers her chicks when a storm is approaching. She spreads her wings wide and covers them completely, taking the full force of the wind and the rain so that they remain protected. That is what I want to do for you. But you must stop running out into the storm on your own. You must stop trying to face the lightning by yourself. Come under the covering of my grace. Come home. And do not make the mistake of thinking you need to clean yourself up first before you return. You cannot clean yourself. That is my work. Just come as you are. Come with all of it. The shame, the failures, the broken promises, the secret sins. I am not standing at the door with a list of requirements. I am standing at the door with open arms. Run to me. Let me hold you until the shaking stops. Let me love you back to life. Now there is something I must speak to you about that carries the weight of genuine urgency. You have been living with an illusion. The illusion of time. You have conducted your life as though there is an endless supply of tomorrows available to you, as though the future is guaranteed and the opportunities before you right now will simply wait until you are ready. You say to yourself, I will address this later. I will make things right next month. I will get serious about my spiritual life when things slow down. But my child, time is a vapor. It rises in the morning and burns away before noon. You do not know what tomorrow holds. This is not meant to frighten you into recklessness. It is meant to awaken you to the value of this present moment. Today, this specific day, this specific conversation, this specific invitation. Procrastination is not simply a productivity problem. It is a spiritual trap. The enemy rarely needs you to do something dramatically evil. He only needs you to delay. He whispers, not now, later. You have plenty of time. And later becomes a chain around your life that keeps you bound to the version of yourself you were never supposed to remain. How many times have you said later? How many months have quietly become years while you waited for the right moment that never arrived? I am calling you to urgency. Not to panic, to urgency. To the kind of alive, eyes wide open engagement with life that treats every moment as carrying weight because it does. If there is someone you need to forgive, do it today, not next week, not when the feeling is right. Today. If there is something in your life you know must change, address it today. If there is something you are being called to do, begin today. Do not wait for perfect conditions. The perfect moment is this one. Break the cycle of delay. Step out of the waiting room. Step into the arena of action. Today is the day of salvation. Do not harden your heart. We also need to speak about the things you hide, because I see them. Every compartment, every carefully guarded room inside your life. The places where you let me in freely, and the places where you quietly close the door. I see the things you do when no one else is watching. The habits you have managed to keep secret. The bitterness you nurse in private. The resentment that sits just beneath the surface of your pleasant public face. The things you look at when the house is dark. The envy you feel but would never admit. You believe that if something is hidden deeply enough, it does not carry full weight. But nothing is concealed from my sight. Darkness is as light to me. And I need you to hear very carefully why I am saying this. It is not to shame you. It is because I see how heavy that burden is. Guilt carried in secret is one of the heaviest weights a human being can carry. It is the reason you wake up exhausted even after a full night of sleep. It is the source of that low, constant hum of anxiety that runs beneath your days. Carrying secret sin is like walking everywhere with a bag of stones hidden under your coat. It drains you. It isolates you. It creates a wall between us, not because I moved away, but because the wall of what you are hiding is blocking your view of my face. Let me take it. Confession is not for my information. I already know everything. Confession is for your liberation. When you speak it out, you break its power over you. When you bring it into the light, the darkness loses its hold. There is no sin too great for my grace to cover. There is no stain too deep for me to wash clean. But you have to hand it over. You have to open that clenched fist and release the shame. No more hiding. No more pretending. No more managing what only I can heal. Give it to me. Walk away lighter, freer, and cleaner than you have felt in a very long time. I am ready to forgive. I am faithful and just. But you must be real with me. Right now. Not tomorrow. Now. Every video is created with prayer, time, and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through Ko-Fi or PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. My dear child, after everything that has been spoken to you today, after every warning wrapped in love, every invitation layered in mercy, every truth spoken gently but without softening, it comes down to this. This is your moment. Not tomorrow's moment, not someday's moment. This one. The one you are standing inside of right now. Moments like this do not arrive with fanfare or dramatic announcement. They come quietly, carrying a weight that only the soul can feel. They do not force decisions. They invite them. And the way you respond determines not only what happens next in your life, but who you become next. This moment has been moving toward you for a long time. Every step you took, every delay you endured, every battle you survived, every night you kept believing, when everything in you wanted to stop, all of it has led you here. Not to overwhelm you, but to offer you a choice that genuinely matters. You may feel the gravity of this and wish that someone else could decide for you. But your destiny cannot be outsourced. This choice belongs to you, because the life attached to it belongs to you. I am not asking you to be fearless. I am not asking you to be certain. I am asking you to be present, to be honest, to be responsive. You know what this moment is asking of you. You know what step you have been circling. You know what truth has been waiting for your agreement. And even if your hands tremble as you consider it, even if your heart races, even if tears rise to the surface, that does not disqualify you from moving forward. It confirms the significance of what is happening. Important moments always stir the soul. They awaken both fear and hope at the same time. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to move in its presence. So here I am, standing with you at the edge of this decision. I am not leaving you alone with it. I am not withdrawing if you step forward. I will walk with you into everything that comes next. But I will not choose for you. Love never does that. This is your moment to say yes. To say yes to movement. Yes to obedience. Yes to surrender. Yes to the life I prepared for you before the world began. I want you free, my child. I want you aligned. I want you fully alive to everything I have prepared. And I have been waiting patiently and faithfully for exactly this moment. For your yes, I am here, and I am not going anywhere. Answer me. Step into this. Let this be the moment you look back on for the rest of your life and say, that is where everything changed. That is the day I finally said yes. I am here. I am ready. And I am waiting for you. My dear child, I want to stay with you a little longer today, because there is so much more I want you to understand about the life I have called you into. You have heard the invitation. You have felt the weight of the decision before you. But now I want to go deeper. I want to take you further into the truth of who I am, what I have already done for you, and what is waiting on the other side of your yes. Because saying yes to me is not the end of a journey. It is the beginning of one. And I want you to know what that journey truly looks like before you take another step. You have been living your life largely on the surface of things. You have dealt with what is visible, what is urgent, what is measurable, what can be seen and touched and managed. But there is an entire dimension of your life that operates beneath the surface, in the unseen, in the spiritual, in the realm where my spirit moves and works and prepares things that your natural eyes cannot yet perceive. And most of what I have done for you, most of what I am currently doing for you, is happening in that invisible space. You do not see it yet, but that does not mean it is not real. In fact, the things happening in that unseen dimension are more real, more permanent, and more powerful than anything visible around you. Think about a seed buried beneath the soil. From the surface, you see nothing. The ground looks exactly as it did before. There is no movement, no color, no visible sign that anything is happening at all. But underground, where no eye can observe it, the most dramatic transformation imaginable is taking place. The shell of the seed is breaking open. Roots are pushing downward. Life is pressing upward. And when the ground finally breaks and the first green shoot appears, it does not feel sudden to the seed. It feels like the natural conclusion of everything that was silently happening all along. That is your life right now. That is what I have been doing in you during every season of silence, every period of waiting, every chapter where nothing seemed to be moving on the surface. I have been working beneath the soil of your circumstances, breaking open old shells, pushing roots deeper, preparing life to press through. You may look at your life and see nothing moving, but I want you to know things are moving. Things are growing. The breakthrough you are waiting for is not delayed. It is being developed. I need you to change the way you see the seasons of your life that felt like loss. The seasons where doors closed, where plans fell apart, where the thing you built crumbled, where the relationship you invested in ended, where the opportunity you prepared for seemed to pass you by. You interpreted those as failures. The enemy made sure of that. He whispered to you that those seasons were proof of your inadequacy, proof that you were not smart enough, not favored enough, not worthy enough. He used those moments to build a narrative of defeat around your identity. And I am here today to dismantle that narrative piece by piece. Every closed door in your past was a form of protection. Not every door that closes does so against you. Some doors close because what was behind them would have taken you in a direction that appeared good on the surface, but would have led you away from the life I designed for you. You grieved those closed doors. You may still carry the H of some of them, but if you could see what I saw at the moment each one closed, you would not grieve. You would exhale. You would say, "Thank you for protecting me from what I thought I wanted, because I have something better prepared." I have always had something better prepared. And the relationships that ended, the ones that felt like they were ripping something essential out of you when they did, I need to speak to you about those too. Not every person who was in your life was meant to go the entire distance with you. Some people are assigned to specific seasons. They come in to teach you something, to show you something about yourself, to carry you through a particular valley. And when that assignment is complete, their season with you ends. This is not a reflection of your value. It is not proof that you are hard to love or that intimacy always ends in pain. It is the natural rhythm of a life that is moving forward. People are seasons too. And not every season lasts. But every season leaves you with something you needed. Even the painful ones. Especially the painful ones. I want you to think back over your life right now. Think of the hardest season you have ever walked through. The one that left the deepest marks. The one you thought you might not survive. Think of the night that lasted the longest, the valley that felt the most absolute. And then I want you to look at yourself right now, in this present moment, and recognize something remarkable. You survived it. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still capable of hearing my voice and feeling the stirring of something alive within you. That is not nothing. That is extraordinary. That is evidence that I have been keeping you. Not just keeping you alive in a biological sense, keeping your spirit alive, keeping your capacity for hope alive, keeping the thread of your purpose intact through every storm that tried to cut it. You are still here because you were never meant to be destroyed by what you went through. You were meant to be refined by it. Refinement is a process that looks nothing like improvement from the inside. When gold is refined, it is placed into an intense fire. The heat is not comfortable. The pressure is not gentle. The process is not quick. But what the fire does is extraordinary. It burns away everything that is not gold. It removes the impurities that dilute the value of what is truly there. And when the process is complete, what remains is purer, more valuable, more beautiful, and more useful than what existed before. That is what has been happening to you. Every trial you walked through was fire. Every season of pressure was refinement. And the you that emerges from this present season, the you that says yes and steps forward and allows me to complete what I have been working on, that version of you will carry a quality that can only come from having gone through the fire and not been consumed by it. There is a word I want to speak over you now with great intention. That word is chosen. You are not an afterthought in my kingdom. You are not a backup plan. You are not someone I am working with because better options were unavailable. You are chosen. Deliberately, specifically. Before the foundation of the world was laid, before time began, before your parents ever thought of you, I knew your name. I designed your specific capacity. I assigned your specific calling. I set apart your specific path. You were not randomly placed on this earth at this moment in history by accident. You were positioned here with purpose. The time you were born, the family you came through, the city you grew up in, the experiences that shaped you. None of it is random. All of it is part of a design that is working towards something I have had in mind since before you existed. This does not mean your life will be free from difficulty. Being chosen does not exempt you from struggle. In fact, the people I have called to the most significant assignments often walk through the most intense seasons of preparation, because the weight of what I am calling them to carry requires a strength that only comes from having been tested. David was chosen as king and then spent years running for his life from the very king who sat on the throne he was promised. Joseph was given a dream of leadership and then spent years in a pit and a prison before that dream became reality. The path from chosen to positioned is rarely the one that looks like the most direct route. It wins, it dips, it passes through shadows, but it always arrives. Always. Because I do not abandon what I have chosen. I want to speak to you now about faith, because faith is the foundation of everything I am calling you into. And I suspect that your understanding of faith has been shaped more by your disappointments than by my word. You have prayed for things that did not come. You have believed for outcomes that did not materialize in the way or the timing you expected. And those experiences have left sediment in your soul, a quiet residue of doubt that makes trusting me feel risky, a protective layer you built around your expectations so that the fall would not hurt as much the next time. I understand that, and I am not dismissing the reality of the disappointment you carry. But I need to reintroduce you to what faith actually is, because the version you may have been practicing is not the full picture. Faith is not a technique for getting what you want. Faith is not a spiritual mechanism that, when operated correctly, produces the outcomes you are hoping for. Faith is not something you do in order to move me into action. Faith is a response to who I am. It is the natural posture of a heart that has genuinely encountered me and has discovered that I am trustworthy. Not trustworthy in the sense that I always do what you ask in the way you ask it, and by the time you expect it. Trustworthy in the sense that I am always working, always moving, always keeping the larger promise, even when the specific request takes a shape you did not anticipate. Real faith says, I believe you are good even when my circumstances do not feel good. I believe you are working even when I cannot see the evidence. I believe your timing is right even when my own sense of timing is screaming that it is wrong. Real faith is not the absence of doubt. Real faith is the decision to trust my character, even in the presence of doubt. And the kind of faith I am calling you into right now is not the performed kind that looks confident on the outside while hiding fear underneath. It is the honest kind, the kind that says, I am afraid and I am trusting you anyway. I do not understand this and I am moving forward with you anyway. I cannot see the outcome and I am saying yes anyway. That kind of faith is what moves mountains, not because it is impressive in its confidence, but because it is genuine in its surrender. Now I want to address the people in your life, because no one walks this journey alone, and the relationships around you matter deeply to the life I am calling you into. There are people in your circle right now who are life-giving, who carry the kind of presence that makes you feel more like yourself, who speak into your life in ways that build you up and push you toward growth. Treasure those people. Invest in those relationships. Do not take for granted the gift of someone who genuinely sees you and chooses to stay. Those people are not in your life by accident. I placed them there. They are part of the support structure I have built around your purpose. But there are also people in your circle right now whose presence is pulling you in a direction you do not want to go. People whose influence consistently moves you further from alignment and peace. People whose words drain rather than build. Whose patterns are contagious in ways that work against your growth. And I need to speak plainly about this. Not every relationship in your life is meant to continue at its current level of intimacy. Some relationships need to be released. Some need to be restructured. Some need to have honest conversations that you have been afraid to have. And I know the fear that comes with this. The fear of loss. The fear of being alone. The fear of being misunderstood. The fear of hurting someone you care about. Those fears are real. But consider this. Staying in a relationship out of fear is not the same as staying in it out of love, and allowing someone's presence to consistently pull you away from your purpose is not kindness to them or to you. There is a kind of love I am calling you to practice that is strong enough to have honest conversations, strong enough to set boundaries, strong enough to choose the difficult thing over the comfortable thing when the difficult thing is the right thing. This is not harshness. This is maturity. And it is one of the clearest signs that you are growing into the person I designed you to be. People who are truly meant to be in your life for the long journey will be able to receive honesty. They will be able to adjust. They will be able to grow with you. And the ones who cannot, the ones who require you to diminish yourself in order to maintain the relationship, those are the ones I am asking you to release with love. Not with bitterness, not with anger, but with the quiet courage of someone who knows where they are going and has chosen to stop being held back. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. I also want to speak to you about forgiveness, because there are weights you are still carrying that are directly connected to unforgiveness. And I am not speaking about the casual kind of offense that passes quickly. I am speaking about the deep wounds, the betrayals that changed you, the people who were supposed to protect you and instead harmed you, the ones who took advantage of your trust and left you with scars you still carry, the situations where what happened to you was genuinely wrong, and where the person who wronged you has never acknowledged it, never apologized, and perhaps never will. I am not asking you to pretend those wounds do not exist. I am not asking you to minimize what happened, or to act as though the damage was not real. What I am asking you to do is release the person from the debt you have been holding them in. Because unforgiveness is not something you carry in your hands toward the person who wronged you. It is something you carry inside your own chest. It is a weight that lives in you, not in them. And every day you hold on to it. You are the one paying the price of what someone else did. The person who hurt you may be living their life with no awareness of the burden you are carrying on their behalf. They may be unbothered. They may not even remember. And yet you are still carrying it, still allowing it to influence your peace, your trust, your capacity for genuine intimacy with others. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you. It is the decision to put down a weight that was never supposed to be yours to carry indefinitely. It is the choice to stop allowing someone else's sin to occupy space in your heart that I want to fill with peace. And forgiveness does not mean what happened was acceptable. It does not mean there are no consequences. It does not mean you must restore trust or return to a relationship that was harmful. It simply means you are releasing the debt. You are choosing to stop keeping the account. You are saying, I am not going to let what they did define the rest of my story. I am handing this over to the only one who is truly capable of justice and healing, and that is me. Let it go, my child. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. There is something that happens in the life of a person who genuinely surrenders, that I want to prepare you for. Because understanding it will help you navigate what comes after your yes. When you say yes to me and begin to step forward in alignment, things in your life will begin to shift. Some of those shifts will feel wonderful. You will experience moments of clarity that have eluded you for years. You will feel a peace that does not make logical sense given your circumstances. You will find that doors begin to open that you did not even knock on. Connections will appear that feel almost impossibly well-timed. Provision will come from directions you did not anticipate. These are real. They are gifts. They are signs that you are moving in alignment with what I have prepared. But I also want to be honest with you about the other kind of shifts that will happen. When you step into alignment with my purposes for your life, things that were out of alignment will become increasingly uncomfortable. Habits that you were managing will become harder to maintain, because the spirit within you will no longer be content with compromise. Relationships that were built on a version of you that is being left behind will experience tension. Situations that you had adapted to, that had become familiar even if they were not healthy, will feel increasingly misaligned. And there will be moments when this discomfort makes you wonder if saying yes was the right choice. There will be moments when the old life looks easier from a distance than the new one feels up close. In those moments, I need you to remember this. Growth is almost always uncomfortable at the beginning. Not because I am cruel or because the path is wrong, but because transformation requires change, and change, by its very nature, disrupts the familiar. The discomfort you feel when you are growing is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is happening. It is the feeling of old patterns breaking down to make room for new ones. It is the feeling of the seed coat splitting open. It is the feeling of roots pushing deeper. Stay with it. Stay with me. Do not let the discomfort of the process convince you to turn back toward the comfort of stagnation. I want to speak to you about prayer, because prayer is the breath of the life I am calling you into. And I suspect that your relationship with prayer has become complicated over time. Maybe it started simple. You talk to me the way a child talks to a trusted parent. Freely, openly, without agenda or formula. And somewhere along the way, that simplicity got complicated. Maybe prayer started to feel like a performance. A set of right words that needed to be arranged in the correct order to produce the desired result. Maybe it started to feel futile, because you prayed for things, and the answer seemed to be silence. Maybe it started to feel distant, like you were speaking into an empty room, and wondering whether anyone was actually on the other side listening. I want to invite you back to simplicity. Prayer is not a technique. Prayer is conversation. It is you and me talking. And in that conversation, you do not have to sound impressive. You do not have to use specific language or follow a particular format. You do not have to pretend you are okay when you are not. You do not have to clean up your thoughts before you bring them to me. Bring me exactly what is true. Bring me the confusion. Bring me the anger. Bring me the grief. Bring me the questions that have no answers yet. Bring me the gratitude that bubbles up unexpectedly. Bring me the desperate asking and the quiet wonder. All of it belongs in this conversation. I can handle the full range of what you carry. I am not fragile. I am not easily offended. And I am not distant. The silence you sometimes feel in prayer is not absence. It is depth. Sometimes I am doing something in the space of your quiet that words would interrupt. Sometimes the most important thing happening in prayer is not what you say, but what you become willing to release in the stillness. And sometimes my answer to your prayer is being worked out in the unseen, in the preparation, in the shaping of circumstances you cannot yet observe. While you wait in what feels like silence, do not mistake the quiet for abandonment. Do not mistake the wait for rejection. I hear every word. I receive every prayer. And I am faithful to answer, always in the way that serves your deepest good, even when that answer looks different from what you expected. My dear child, I want to speak to you about your purpose. Because purpose is what gives everything else meaning. It is the frame that makes sense of the individual pieces of your life, and you have felt the pull of purpose. Even in seasons when you could not define it or name it, or see its shape clearly, you have felt the pull. That restlessness that would not leave you alone, even when you tried to settle into something that almost fit. That hunger that the accomplishments of the world satisfied temporarily, but never permanently. That sense that your life is supposed to be about more than what it has been about so far. That pull is not imagination. That is purpose calling your name. Your purpose is not a job title. It is not a position on an organizational chart. It is not a specific role or function that can be reduced to a description. Your purpose is the unique expression of my image through your specific life. It is the particular way that you were designed to bring light into dark places, hope into hopeless situations, life into spaces that have forgotten what it feels like to be alive. And every single thing you have experienced, every gift you carry, every wound you have survived, every skill you have developed, every relationship that has shaped you, all of it has been contributing to your capacity to fulfill that purpose. Nothing has been wasted. Not one experience. Not one season. Not one seemingly random encounter that left an unexpected mark on you. You have been thinking about purpose as something you need to find, as though it is hidden somewhere outside of you, and your task is to search until you locate it. But I want to shift that picture. Purpose is not something you find outside of yourself. Purpose is something you uncover within yourself as you move in obedience to me. It emerges as you go. It becomes clearer as you step forward. It takes shape as you respond to what I place before you. This means you do not have to have it all figured out before you begin. You do not have to have a complete and clear vision of your final destination before you take the next step. You simply have to be willing to take the next step, and then the one after that, and the one after that, and purpose will reveal itself as you walk. I also want to speak to you about the greatness that is possible in your life. Not the kind of greatness the world celebrates, which is mostly about prominence and recognition and the accumulation of things that impress other people. I am talking about a different kind of greatness. The kind that is measured not by how many people know your name, but by how many lives are genuinely changed by the presence of your life. The kind that shows up in the quiet moments. In the conversation you have with someone who is struggling, where you say exactly the right thing, because my spirit has prepared you. In the decision you make to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. In the way you love the people closest to you, with the kind of consistency and depth that creates safety and trust over time. In the way you get back up after being knocked down and choose, again, to believe. That kind of greatness is available to you. It does not require a platform or a title or a particular set of circumstances to fall into place first. It requires only that you show up, fully and honestly, in the life you are currently living, and allow me to work through you right where you are. And from that foundation of faithfulness in the ordinary, extraordinary things are built. Faithfulness in small things is always the path to greater trust and greater assignment. Do not despise the smallness of where you currently are. The ground beneath your feet right now is sacred. What you do here matters. Who you are here matters. How you love and serve and give and grow right here, in this season, with these people, in these circumstances, is building something whose full dimensions you will not be able to see until you are further down the road. There is a gift I want to speak to you about that you may have underestimated. The gift of your story. Your story, with all of its complexity, its detours, its moments of beauty and its seasons of pain, is one of the most powerful tools I have placed in your hands. Because your story is not just yours. Your story is evidence. It is testimony. It is proof that someone can go through what you went through and still be standing, still be believing, still be moving forward. And there are people around you right now, and people you have not yet met, who desperately need to hear your story. Not a polished, cleaned up, all the rough edges removed version of it. The real one, the honest one. The one that includes the failure, and the doubt, and the dark nights, and the moments when you did not know if you were going to make it through. That story is not something to be ashamed of. That story is a weapon against despair. Because when someone who is in the middle of their own dark night hears that someone else walked through darkness and came out the other side, something in them shifts. Hope reawakens. The lie that says, I am the only one who has ever felt this lost, this broken, this far from where I thought I would be by now, that lie loses its power. And you have the ability to be that voice for someone. Not because your story is perfect, but precisely because it is not. Do not hide it. Do not sterilize it. Trust me with it. Let me use it. The very things you are most tempted to keep hidden are often the very things that carry the most power to set someone else free. If these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and God's Word with countless souls around the world. Now I want to address something about the future that I know occupies your thoughts more than you let on. You think about the future with a mixture of hope and anxiety that lives in the same breath. The hope is real. There is a part of you that genuinely believes something better is possible. That part of you has survived everything that has tried to extinguish it. And the anxiety is also real, because the future is uncertain, because things have not always unfolded the way you hoped before, because trust costs something, and you have already paid a high price for it in certain seasons. I understand both sides of that tension. I am not dismissing either, but I want to speak a specific truth into that tension right now. I know the plans I have for you. Not vague, general, generic plans. Specific plans. Plans that have your name on them. Plans that account for where you are starting from, not where you wish you had started from. Plans that include redemption for the years that felt wasted. Plans that take the very thing the enemy meant to destroy you with and repurpose it for something greater than you can currently imagine. The plans I have for you are not plans of harm. They are plans of hope and a future. That is not a sentiment. That is a promise from the one who holds all time in his hands and who has never once broken a promise. Not once. Not to anyone. Not ever. I want you to receive this truth into the deepest part of your being. Your future is not determined by your past. Your future is not the natural conclusion of your history. Your future is the territory of my promise. And I am a God who makes things new, who calls things that are not as though they are, who plants hope in the most barren ground and causes it to bloom in seasons when blooming seemed impossible. You are not locked into the trajectory of where your life has been. You are being invited into the trajectory of where I am taking you. And those are two very different roads. My dear child, as I bring these words toward their close, I want you to understand something about this very moment right now. Not the big dramatic moments that you are waiting for someday. This moment, the one where you are simply here, listening, feeling the stirring inside you that you cannot quite explain. This moment is holy. This moment matters. Not because of what is happening around you, or because of the circumstances that surround your life right now, but because in this moment, my spirit is present. My voice has reached you. Something true has landed in the place inside you where truth lives. And the response you carry out of this moment will shape the season that follows it. You are standing at a threshold. Not a dramatic, visible one with a clear sign above it saying this is the moment everything changes. Thresholds rarely look like that from the inside. From the inside, they look like an ordinary moment, like a quiet decision made in private, like a small turning of the heart in a new direction, like a yes that no one else around you sees or hears, but that echoes through the unseen realm with extraordinary weight. That is where you are standing right now, at the threshold of what comes next. And what comes next is better than what came before. Not without difficulty, not without moments of uncertainty, but better in the ways that matter most. Richer in meaning, deeper in purpose, more aligned with the design I had in mind for you from the very beginning. I will not force you through the threshold. I will not push you. I will not manufacture circumstances to remove your choice, because love honors choice, always. But I am standing at that threshold with you. I am right here. My hand is extended. My voice is clear. My commitment to you is unshaken and unshakable. And I am telling you with everything I am, do not walk away from this moment. Do not let it dissolve into the ordinary without carrying its full weight. Do not let the noise of what comes next pull you away before what is happening right now has finished its work in you. Stay here. Stay present. Stay open. Because this moment is not finished with you yet. And I am not finished with you yet. I have been pursuing you with a love that does not tire. I have been speaking to you in the quiet, in the storm, in the ordinary fabric of your days, through the words of people placed in your path, through the circumstances I have arranged and the ones I have prevented. I have been calling you home, not to a religion, not to a set of rules, not to a system of obligations and requirements. Home, to genuine relationship, to real encounter, to the life that was always meant to be yours. Come home, my child. The door is open, the light is on, and I am here, waiting with the kind of love that has no conditions attached to it, no performance required for it, and no distance great enough to outrun it. This is not the end of what I have to say to you. It is an invitation to a conversation that can last a lifetime. Every day you wake up, I am there. Every moment you turn toward me, I am already facing you. Every question you bring, I am ready to receive. Every burden you carry, I am ready to help you put down. The life I am offering you is not perfect in the sense that it will be free from pain or loss or uncertainty, but it is full of meaning, full of genuine encounter, full of the kind of peace that holds steady even when the ground beneath your feet is shaking, full of the kind of joy that does not depend on circumstances to remain. That life is available to you. It has always been available to you, and it begins with one word: yes. Say it, my child, even quietly, even imperfectly, even through tears or confusion or the lingering presence of doubt. Say yes. Take the step. Turn toward me. And I promise you, with every ounce of the love that formed you and has kept you and is calling you right now, you will never for a single moment regret it.